Hi, Nancy here with another nature note from Nancy. I'm here at Sulphur Spring Conservation Area where we're going to be investigating the trout that live here. The springs at Sulphur Spring Conservation Area are the main source of water for the streams that run throughout the park. Back in the 1920s, A.J. Metzger discovered a cattle beast stuck in a sinkhole back here. He decided to widen the spring area so that more water could flow. Now the water flows 27 bathtubs full every minute, and the water stays at 9 degrees Celsius. The reason why he wanted to do that, he wanted to start a trout hatchery here on the property, but he soon discovered it wouldn't work. Every time the water goes over a waterfall or through a riffle area where there's a little miniature rapids, more oxygen gets into the water, allowing animals and plants that need that oxygen to survive an opportunity to get oxygen into their systems. Trees and bushes over the stream help provide shade, which helps to keep the water cool and provide hiding places for many different species of animals. A grate upstream of the trout ponds marks the intake of the water for both trout ponds. Fresh, clean, cold water is constantly entering the trout ponds. Rainbow trout, like all salmonoid species, need lots of oxygen to survive. By the time the water has reached this pond, the water has traveled down 3 meters from where the spring is down to where these ponds are. And it's traveled over 36 waterfalls, allowing more oxygen to get in and some of the sulfur gas to get out. Metzger's plan was to have a trout hatchery here on the property. So he hired men back in the 1920s with shovels and teams of horses to dig the ponds, the stream network throughout the park. We keep the trout here so that people can enjoy them, to see them up close, but no fishing is allowed. The ponds themselves are about 2 meters deep, and the water constantly flowing through ensures that there's enough oxygen for the trout to survive. We feed these fish trout chow, a mixture of different grains and vitamins, and even ground up fish. In the wild, these fish would eat smaller fish, crustaceans, and insects. Some of these fish have figured out that the odd grasshopper does jump in as well, and they feed like a frenzy on those. These rainbow trout are about 8 years old. They'll soon be making the trip to Allen Park where you can go fishing for them. We'll bring in new fish, small young ones about a year old, or fingerlings, and put them in. We can't put the young fish in with the older fish because the older fish would eat the young fish. When salmonoid species are mature, old enough to lay eggs, you can tell the difference between the male and the female fish by looking at their snout. On a female, both top and bottom lip are pointed. On a male, the top lip is square with the body and the bottom lip comes out in a pout. The female fish are a little bit larger in size as well. A.J. Metzger's plan of having a trout hatchery just didn't pan out. The water here does not have enough oxygen for the fish eggs to survive. Each pond has a separate intake and outflow, ensuring that the water does not contaminate from one pond to another. It also helps us ensure that we can block the one pond off at a time to clean it if necessary. Here's the outlet for the pond where the water comes back into the main stream. Remember, there's no fishing allowed at Sulphur Spring Conservation Area, but there is fishing allowed at Allen Park Management Unit in Allen Park. See you another time on Nature Notes with Nancy.